Hello everyone and welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Now today we're going to be looking at Watford's next 8 fixtures in the Premier League. Now we're obviously on a bad spell at the minute, losing 3 on the bounce. I'm going into West Ham this weekend on the Sunday. Robin, will start with West Ham at home. David Moyes has just come in. It's going to be a revitalised West Ham team.
Yeah, I think obviously it's the whole new manager comes in thing, and they all suddenly start wanting to perform in order to get their place, in order to stay at the club. But West Ham have been very poor this season. They've been down there with like Everton and Palace, but obviously Everton we can't really talk because look at what they just done to us. But it's basically, I think the team needs to just go in terms of Watford. We need to just go in and play, not be cocky, but be confident and play that football we were, because there was we had spells at Everton where we were absolutely running the game
to bed.
And yeah, I think it's just like being more clinical is definitely a good part of it. Like, get the ball to Richarlison. Like, no matter what happens with like the West Ham, how they're trying to try, their back four should be better. Joe Hart is, I can't see him suddenly coming out and making a string of brilliant saves just because David Moyes has come. Because yeah, I think their defence, he can't really fix it. He can just fix the way that they play, and unless they do a Stoke and like,
I think they're going to set up for a draw.
Yeah, I don't want them to, and I hope they don't, because they do have good creative players like Lanzini and Chicharito, so they might actually want to go for like points, because obviously David Moyes coming in
That's
first
what
game.
we want in a sense, because then we can pick them off on the break.
Exactly. I think we do not like after Stoke and after definitely realising our defensive woes against Everton. We do not like it when a team sits back and tries to get us to break them down, because it normally doesn't end well for us.
Yeah, we do struggle to break teams down, like Robin said, when they set up with 2 banks of 4, and then you've got the likes of Darren Fletcher breaking up the play. Yeah. David Moyes has come in. He's obviously on the back of that kind of sticky spell at Sunderland. I mean, they were always going down. Sociedad, United, he was poor. Everton is the only job he's really kind of done well in at a big club. So it's going to be a tough one. We'll do the match preview nearer the time, but it is going to be a tough game. And then we go to Newcastle away at St James's Park. They're a decent side. I mean, Rafa Benitez wasn't given the funds.
They've settled in pretty decently, to be fair. I mean, Rafa Benitez is always a quality manager, in my opinion, no matter where he is, especially after what he did with Liverpool. And I feel like St James's Park is big, intimidating atmosphere, and I think for that sort of game, going up north, you need to be up for it. And I think we need to show up, unlike when we did. We need to have that Chelsea mentality, like before the end of that game when we tried to just sit back, because I don't think that works for us sitting back. And I think against a team like Newcastle, obviously similar to West Ham in the fact that they've got some good players like dotted around, but like overall I think our attack is much better than their defence, and our defence is much better than their attack. So.
Yeah, the Watford fans are going to be up in the heavens at St James's Park. It's going to be good atmosphere. I mean, I think Newcastle, the fact they've gone down in recent years is just incredible. What a fan base as well.
Club. Yeah, I think looking at them, you got to blame Mike Ashley, and I think it's annoying. We obviously had that with the whole fiasco before the Pozzos.
Good old Lawrence Bassini. Every game in the Premier League's tough. I mean, last season you had kind of like Sunderland games, even though we lost them. Jesus Christ. But Newcastle is going to be another tough game. West Ham next week, next Sunday. We then welcome Manchester United to Vicarage Road, a midweek evening kick-off, and then that is followed by Tottenham at home. It's a sticky spell for us, probably the 2 kind of worst back-to-back games we've had in a while, probably since the start of the season.
Yeah.
2 big games. I mean, we'll try and get 1 point out of both of them.
Yeah, I think I don't mind getting 0 out of 6 points. They're 2 top quality sides, and it's a pleasure to have them. To have sides like that really come to us. They're just like
little Watford.
Yeah, I mean, Man U at home last season, we all know what happened there. So you never know. And also, it's about time we did get a result against Tottenham. But I think we're going to wait until Wembley, because I think they're better.
What an away day that's going to be.
That's going to be great. I think looking at that fixture further ahead, I think any team going away to Wembley this season is going to love it, because you've got more fans there, obviously, to back your team. And I think stadium like this, Man United didn't like it last year. You see, obviously, when Rooney said I had a bad game at Watford, and that's when I knew. You watch the video, they just didn't have the right pitch dimensions. I think big teams do get unsettled, especially Tottenham now coming from a bigger pitch at Wembley to come play here. 2
Premier League kind of title contenders coming to Watford, and Watford's one of those places like Arsenal came here. They're not title contenders, but a big club coming here and thinking, we could actually lose this or drop points. Whether it will kind of pay off against the Tottenham side, who are really, really good in my opinion, and the United side that have kind of struggled. Obviously, they lost to Huddersfield, so that's a kind of that's a tough place to go. But it does kind of show that Man United are kind of they are kind of prone to a kind of slip up.
Yeah, I think Mourinho isn't happy when they have those lapses. Man United got some quality players going forward, and they've got a quality goalkeeper. It's just that I always think their defence just. Even though they've got great players in their defence, there can be some days where their defence doesn't turn up, and it's all down to De Gea.
We then make the long trip up to Turf Moor to face Burnley. It's one of those games where Watford, I've said it so many times, you just wouldn't be surprised if we lost, if you know what I mean, because the amount of times we've gone to these sort of places. I remember last season we lost. Deeney came out with some really brutal comments. Kennedy, I remember Kennedy then left like a week after. It was just an absolute kind of. It was a shambles.
It's games like Burnley away, Huddersfield away, Stoke away, where you need to have that ruthless streak in a team like this to get that top half position, to get where we're aiming for, like 8th, 7th. And you got to think like logically. Like these are the games where if we drop points, it's just not good, and that's why I think Mazzari's team last year they didn't have that. They dropped points in games like Burnley away when. Actually, let's be honest, should have gone there. We had a good squad last year, it's just it didn't work.
That will be the difference between Mark Silva and Mazzari, whether he could pick up points in these sort of games, because there were spells where Mazzari won a few games on the bounce.
Like Man United at home last season, Mazzari showed that with whatever team you can get a win against the big sides, but then he just was so inconsistent against the sides that are around our level that we like to beat.
We've always struggled against teams like Burnley. They're a real force under Sean Dyche. Would you take a point?
Coming out of, say we were coming out of 2 losses against Man U and Tottenham, definitely, but I would be disappointed. I'd be slightly disappointed if we didn't win, but then I'm going to the game hopefully, and then like if you go there and you watch and we're having a poor performance, we get a point, I'll be happy with that. It just depends on if the players show up.
Depends if we turn up, yeah. And then we move on to South London's Croydon to face Crystal Palace.
Midweek.
Oh, it's gonna be, if there's gonna be some scenes.
Palace. Obviously the form they're having, but then you go and see them beat Chelsea and you're like, I hope they don't turn up.
Then Huddersfield come to Vicarage Road, and then we face Brighton on the 23rd, just before Christmas. That'll be a great away day. We have really fond memories at the Amex. Anyway, Huddersfield at home. David Wagner really has taken, in my opinion, a championship team, a mid-table championship team, to the Premier League. I mean, what a manager.
Absolute respect for him. A team like Huddersfield, you've just got to admire them the way they work for each other, and I think that's how these, let's be honest, I don't want to sound really disrespectful to Huddersfield, but these small teams that come up, you need that squad unity, you need them to be like that, and I'd love it if Huddersfield stayed up, but then also absolutely thrash them at home. I think these 4 games we're talking about are the
pivotal in our season.
Palace, Huddersfield and Brighton. It's a great Christmas period for us. Like we've looked back, this is one of the best Christmas periods we've had apart from Man City on New Year's Day.
It could go either 2 ways. We could, but say I don't know, we pick up maybe 10 points or we pick 12, 9 points. You're looking at it thinking great Christmas period, but say if we pick up 3, maybe 4, you're then looking at it thinking that's a real opportunity.
You're looking behind you instead of like trying to chase after the top dogs, and it's like it's games like those. Huddersfield at home, we just need to put them away. Like we didn't do that to Brighton. Then Brighton away. I think Brighton, they're a good team, but
what a lovely place to play football though. I'm not being funny. It's one of those stadium, it's one of those West Hams where you go there and then as a away player, as a away fan, you just think, oh, that's a nice place to play. The next 8 fixtures, 24 points possible. How many would you take out of them?
I mean, we've only got 2 games which I said we'd lose out of them. So I want to say half of that is 12, so I'm going to say 15 or more would be great. 15 is like dreamland. More than 12 is good for me, because more than half of that is, I'll take it.
I'm looking at the 40-point mark. I'm being a bit not a pessimist, but being a realist. As Nikhil says, he's a realist. But I'm looking at the 40-point mark and I'm thinking, get there first, then we can build on that.
And not do a West Brom though. We don't want to get to 40 points and like have a Mazzari slump at the end of the season.
Very true.
So if we get to that, push on, it could be great.
24 points possible. I think Watford should try and target 15, like Roman said. How many I think we'll get, we'll have to wait and see. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Let us leave your kind of like leave all the fixtures below and then put like what you think we'll get from each game.
8 in a row.
That'll be pretty cool. And we'll read through some of them. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any more Watford fan content. And we'll see you next time.